My wife announced to her Bible study class that she has an incurable form of cancer. And a woman came up to her and said that she would pray for my wife, but wanted to punch me. For a time, we had to stop going to church because people would either be very passive aggressive or they would loudly mutter past us. My kids were chased through a store one day by a man telling them that their father was destroying the country. And we just had these series of events. Both of my children lost all of their friends because their friends' parents thought I was on the verge of destroying the country and would talk about it so openly in front of their kids. The kids hated my kids. They were bullied, beat up, encouraged to commit suicide, all of these things. And by the way, my kids at the time were in our church's school. I should point that out. And the headmaster and the principal really didn't do anything because it was this wild ride.
What was here's a question: with what happened to American Christianity in this period? Because this is not a Christian position.
No, it's not.
You may disagree with someone, but they're made in the image of God. You're in a fellowship with them at church. The whole point of that is that you don't politicize that, and you don't marginalize and isolate people. In this period, American evangelical Christianity seemed to be flirting with a kind of fusion politically with this savior figure, this Trump figure.
I will tell you this, and feel free to disagree. It might not sit well with you or your listeners, but here's my personal theory. After 2012, the Obama administration in 2012 would tell Hispanic voters, Republicans are your enemies, and tell voters you need to get in their faces. And during the Obamacare fight, they set up the thing to turn in your neighbor if they've given you lies. By 2016, you have the Little Sisters of the Poor case going to court, the Hobby Lobby case. Rightly or wrongly, Christians in America and evangelical churches interpreted this as an existential threat. And a lot of Christians in a lot of churches are taught not a very deep faith, and they forgot that the God of the universe is on their side, and they have a band of angels they cannot see who fight for them. And they decided we've got to have a political savior to save us from this political administration that wants us to turn our neighbors in for line and suing nuns to force them to perform abortions. The Obergefell decision has happened. The Obama administration in court says, well, we may come for your Christian tax-exempt status because of it. They completely misinterpreted what was happening in the world as we need a political savior to save us from the politics of the other side, rightly or wrongly. And it scared them. And that's why I never really I can't say I didn't get mad for individual things that happened, but mad generally at these people that they were scared to death that suddenly you have this complete change in culture in the country and they didn't know what to do. And here comes this guy who promises them, I'll fight for you. Look at all these Republicans who promised to fight for you who didn't. I'll do it. And they went with him. They were wrong. Their theology was wrong. But I understand why they did it, and I try not to be mad at people who voted out of fear when I just too much of our politics is based on fear now on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I live in a community that's that is being daily told that they're in a state of emergency. I mean, the gays are now being told we have a national state of emergency, that the hatred is so great that fundamental existence is at stake. And it's nonsense.